Hey everyone! So today's video is going to be my updated foundation routine using the Bare Minerals Ready Foundation. This is a powder foundation, which is different from what I'm used to wearing. I used to always wear liquid, but I have just recently purchased this and I am so in love with it. So I wanted to do a whole video showing you guys how I apply it, what products I use, and kind of how it's different from applying liquid foundation. So if you guys want to know how to achieve this look using powder foundation, just go ahead and keep watching. I love you all, and let's get into the tutorial. And first, to prime my skin, I'm going to use the MAC Prep and Prime Skin Base, which is just this white sort of liquid product. And I'm just going to take a pump of that on my hand, and I'm going to rub my fingers together to kind of break the product up and apply it evenly onto my face. You really want to make sure that with this foundation you apply a primer so that the powder has something to stick to onto your face. I really like this primer because it just evens out your skin tone, it makes your pores a little bit smaller, and makes the powder go on smoothly. For my concealer, I'm using the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, and I'm going to take that on this Real Techniques Small Buffing Dual Fiber Brush. What I like to do is sort of start tapping it from the inner under eye area and start working it down. Once I get enough of the tapping application, I'll start to buff it around the edges. To get a really flawless application, you want to just do a tapping motion on the inner part of the under eye area. Once you get to the edges, you can do a buffing motion to blend everything together. And I like to take the concealer pretty far down. I feel like it creates a natural highlight once we put the powder on top. And now I'm just going to do the same thing to the other side of my face. So once you've blended everything out, it should look something like this. Now to set that, I'm going to take a beauty blender, and I'm going to take a mix of two powders. The first one is the Coty Airspun Loose Face Powder in the shade Translucent, and the second one is my Ben Nye Banana Luxury Powder. And I like to just put a little bit of the Coty powder on the cap, and then put a little bit of the Ben Nye Banana Powder. Once I have those two together, I like to just mix it around with the beauty blender. And then what I do is just apply some powder to the under eye areas. The Ben Nye Banana Powder is definitely a little bit too yellow to use on its own, so I like to mix it with the translucent powder to create a softer yellow effect. And this is really going to make sure that the concealer doesn't crease throughout the day and it's very long wearing. And then I just kind of let that sit there for a couple of minutes. So this is what the pressed powder looks like. It comes in this compact with a mirror. And the brush that I like to use with this is just this Walgreens retractable kabuki brush, which is really easy to throw in my purse if I need a touch up throughout the day. I start off by taking the clean kabuki and patting away any of the excess powder underneath the eyes. So once you sweep the excess powder away, you're left with really bright and highlighted under eye areas. So now I'm going to go into my powder, and I like to just press the kabuki brush on the powder. And I start off by just pressing it onto the skin, and once I have enough product on there, I like to buff it in. If you guys are wanting to try out this foundation, I definitely suggest getting color matched because the powder looks very different on your face than what the color on the compact looks like. The pressed powder has so much coverage. It covers all of my acne and imperfections, and it doesn't feel like heavy or cakey. It just basically feels like you're not wearing anything. And then you of course just want to take that down along your jawline to make sure that everything, you know, blends in together. And this particular shade is a little bit too light for me, so I like to just apply some bronzer. And I'm taking this large powder brush from Real Techniques. And the bronzer that I'm going to use is just this MAC bronzer. And I like to start by sculpting along my cheekbones and then taking it upwards and down my jawline. This is going to add just a little bit of dimension to the face and some warmth. Now I'm going to take the Sigma Tapered Face F25 brush and my e.l.f. Contour and Blush Duo, and I'm going to take the darker shade. And I'm going to use this to contour just along my cheekbones to give it a little bit more definition. I love using this brush because the pointed tip gives a really precise application, but you're also able to blend it out. And you can take that up towards your hairline as well. For my blush, I like using a small stippling brush. And I'm going to use this berry toned blush from a NARS blush palette that I have. And I just like to stipple that on the apples of my cheeks and then take it slightly upwards. I like using a brush like this because it's going to apply a really light hand and you can always build it up to the color intensity that you want. So there you have the finished look. It's really flawless. It's very lightweight. It doesn't feel like you're wearing a lot of makeup, but it covers everything that you want covered. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know if you liked it. As always, give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to follow me on all my social media networks, which I will always have the links to that down below. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.